In this quick video, I'm going to walk through the new Amazon SageMaker. I don't want to waste your time, so if you like these shorter videos, leave a like and let me know in the comments. So let's get into it. All right, when you're opening SageMaker, now you get greeted by Amazon SageMaker, the Center for Data Analytics and AI, and it's the SageMaker Unified Studio. The cool thing is there is nothing to install. You can start right away with your IAM permissions and roles, access all the data that you have on AWS. So you could click open here, and that will bring you to the new SageMaker interface. So what you see here on the left, let's go from top down. Overview, okay, files, we don't have any files here, so we see right now nothing here. Then you have data. And the cool thing here with data is you can have access to your data catalogs that you've set through Glue. So for me, for instance, I have an AWS data catalog here, and then I have here, for instance, my Glue transactions database, and I have tables in here. But also you can have your access to your S3 buckets. So if I click this and open here other buckets, this will bring in all the buckets that I have and that I can explore data-wise, because we can create connections in here. So if you want to use resources in your SageMaker, you can just create a new connection here, and you have a lot of options, right? DocumentDB, DynamoDB, Redshift, SQL, Postgres, Snowflake, Oracle, and so on. So you can just create this, and from that point on, you can use it in SageMaker. Then we have the next thing here, notebooks. And notebooks is really cool because you can actually work with these notebooks very easily. You can just click here, create a notebook, and then you're creating here a new notebook. Now on the left, again, this is our data explorer because we are in the data field here. And as you can see, we again have access to our data catalog, and we also have access to our buckets. And I have one bucket here, AWS bulk import bucket. And we're going to then query here data from that bucket. But before we go into that, let's quickly look here on the left. One interesting thing is that you can actually add packages here, right? You can just, these are all the packages that are in this notebook, but you can just say here add, and then you do like a pip install. You can actually install the versions or add the packages here. We also have the compute environment where you can change the compute that this notebook is using, right? Right now it's a T3 medium, but yeah, you have a lot of options here. Remember, this will cost you. So this actually would idle timeout within 1 hour. But you can also go here on the bottom and you can just say stop here, right? And then this will stop this, and you will only pay for the time you used. There is nothing else to provision. Everything is done for you. You just select the instance and boom, it's there. Very simple. Okay, let's quickly work with this. Variables, we don't have any here. Let's just go back to our notebook and to our data, right? The cool thing here, you also have an AI agent now. So you can pop this out. You have your AI agent. Let's make this here a bit smaller. And you can actually tell the agent what to build. So I prepared a quick thing here. What I want to do is I want to tell it, okay, here in my S3 bucket, AWS bulk import, that's this one here, is a file data.csv. Create me the code to display the first few rows, and that shows me the column names. Use ISO 88591 encoding, because this, I don't know, this file comes from a UK e-commerce store, so there's some issue with UTF-8 encoding. So just say it, okay, do this for me, agent. And then this agent will work. Okay. Create the code for me. Boom, boom. Okay. It tells you what it does or what it did. And then you can just say accept and run. And it's going to run here. And it's going to show you here. Okay. These are the column names. And here's an overview of the first few rows, right? Yeah, with the columns and the content. Now, of course, this is only a part, so we could also say, okay, next, then say next, calculate the total number of invoices per customer and filter for the top 10 customers. So just boom. Great. It's going to create the new one. You can, of course, check what it does, but let's just keep it that way. Accept and run this. here are our customers with the most invoices, 248 and so on. And if you want to explore this, let's quickly remove that window. If you want to explore this, you can also use charts here. So you have the data frame, choose our data frame, our top 10 customers data frame, click on it, customer ID, use for the x-axis, not the customer ID, the total invoices, and then we have a chart that we can explore here. Nice, right? Very simple, very quick. You can use the data catalog here, but also you can use the buckets or any other data you upload here if you uploaded files or include files in this notebook. Now we used Python for this, but we can also use SQL. On the left here in data catalogs, you can see we have our AWS data catalog. There is the Glue transactions database and our table AWS bulk import, which has the same data as our S3 file. And what we can do here, we can actually say, let's bring up the agent again. We can say, okay, let's use SQL to calculate the top customers from the data catalog table, AWS data catalog, Glue transactions DB, AWS bulk import, which is basically this here, right? And have in that table the 2 timestamps for the first and last sale for each customer and the customer ID. Then afterwards, we combine the data frame with the top customers and the SQL query result based on the customer ID. So let's see if this works. So it's checking Athena. It understands we have already the top 10 customers data frame. And here's what it gives us. It does a select query here on our Glue transactions DB AWS bulk import table from the data catalog with customer ID, first sale and last sale. Right? And then it's doing here a merge of these two to actually give us a good result. So let's quickly accept and run. So it's doing our SQL query here again. And then in that part, it's taking the result from that SQL query and it's going to create a combined data frame where it merges then our new data frame with that top 10 customers data frame. And then we have here the result with the customer IDs, with the total invoices, with the first sale and the last sale for these people. I think there's actually something wrong with the query because we see only 6 results instead of 10. So that needs improvement. But the main thing I want to show you is that you can actually do SQL and Python in one notebook and you can combine these data sets and do things with it. So let's move next here to workflows. Workflows are basically Airflow, MWAA workflows that you can use or can create with a visual tool, right? So you can select, okay, I want to have this, I want to have SageMaker here, I want to have some Lambda function operators, and you can basically create your workflows visually in here. That's for orchestration. Then we have our query editor, and that is more for data analysts because you can just say here, okay, let's just remove the buckets. You can go to our data catalogs and have a data catalog here. That's the Glue transactions database. That is exactly what we've looked at already. And you can just go in here. Okay, this is our table. See, invoice number, stock code. So I created that data catalog before, and you can say here, okay, let's preview some data. And this will then preview some data because that uses Athena in the background. Boom, boom. Here's our data. Or, yeah, I've already generated the SQL, right? You can do select statements, insert statements, drop statements, and so on. And you can basically work here, use Athena and explore the data and work with it through simple SQL statements. You can also schedule queries here. I like it. Then we have Visual ETL. With Visual ETL, you can just create a Visual ETL job here. Let's use S3 as the source. And you just pop this in here as Visual ETL. you browse your bucket, and that's the same thing we did before. We use our S3 bucket here, AWS bulk import, and then use the data file. And one thing we need to change here, we need to use infer schema disabled here, because it infers the schema a bit wrong. And then we already have our data preview. So let's do a quick filter here. Let's use a filter where add a filter condition, the key. We're going to use the customer ID. Let's use a different one. Here, this one, customer ID equals this value. And then this is going to show us, okay, boom, boom. We only have basically 20 rows left here. And then you can just do the next thing and to say, let's go to data targets. Let's use a data target like Redshift S3 or whatever, S3, and then you select the bucket, boom, 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 save and run it. And that's it. Straightforward. It's a visual design, very easy to understand, very easy to work with. Then we have data processing jobs. This is basically your old Glue jobs that you can do. You can create them from notebooks, code-based or visual ETL. These are old Glue jobs that I have created and that get shown in here. So with that, the analytics part is done. We have worked with notebooks. Then we have here AI, and that is very cool with models, where you can now go in and say, okay, I want to use a model here. Let's use a model from Meta, a 11B version here, right? And that you can then deploy as a notebook here on the top right. And then in that notebook, you can work actually with that LLM, or you use JupyterLab. So I think this is a huge step, and you see how many they have here. Mistral 16 from AWS models, Meta, OpenAI, and so on, NVIDIA. Really cool. MLflow, I don't know that much about MLflow, and about training jobs I also haven't created, but that's of course what you can do with SageMaker. That's the typical use case for it. And then the other point here that I really like is you can have inference endpoints. And these endpoints, when you use the model and you added that to a notebook, you can say, okay, I want to create a notebook here, a model, and you can then use that from a notebook or from a JupyterLab. From your JupyterLab code. Very straightforward, very cool. And then you could use an API and then use that inference endpoint, send data there, and get the results back. For instance, for RAG applications or whatever you want to build. So these endpoints that you can already create them directly here in SageMaker, huge deal. And you already saw here JupyterLab and notebooks. The IDEs here is one of the big things that they have, because you can just go in here, JupyterLab, and this is going to connect here. Let's create a quick connection. Come on. An instance with 16 gigabyte storage, T3 medium, right? And this will bring up, let's go, actually the full JupyterLab IDE here. Right? And then you can work with if you use that, you can use your typical IDE that you use all the time here online. Or if you're more a VS Code guy, then you can just click here on Editor for VS Code. This is going to connect to the space. Again, a distribution here, SageMaker distribution to 11 storage, and so on. MLT3 medium instance, and this will run. And your normal VS Code environment. So if you have your repository in here, you can actually work directly from here with your normal development environment. Of course, we need to close this again, right? We need to shut this down. So we need to go and we need to actually configure space, stop the space, and this will stop the space so we don't pay for this. And here the same thing, configure space, stop space. And with that, of course, with our notebooks, you can just delete your notebook again here, boom, boom, quick confirm, and that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's the new SageMaker. To me, it feels like it's not that scary anymore. I think it's a really, really nice improvement. Let me know what you think. And again, if you like these shorter videos, hit the like and write me a quick comment below. See you next time.